Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. Rowpaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
We don't need gimmicks like giant checks and mascots to promote this year's football contest because we're giving away even more money than we did last year.
$16 million in guaranteed prizes to be exact. There's 2 ways to win and no rake.
Players in Circa Millions make 5 picks against the spread each week with quarterly and full season payouts.
Circa Survivor entries select 1 team each week with no point spread. Last the longest to win it all. Visit circasports.com for details.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. It's the best time to trade in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV with the room to haul your payload or playload. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Canned Cocktails is perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Now, here's 4-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Greetings, Boise State fans, and welcome to the first full padded practice of fall camp for the Boise State football team. My name is BJ Rains. I'm with Bronco Nation News. We got John Mallory, host of KTIK 95.3, The Tickets, Prater, and the Ball Game. You hear him weekdays 3 to 6. We're at the Western Collective Studios today, mobile outside Albertson Stadium, where here in about a half an hour or so, the football team, after an off day yesterday, will get back at it with full pads for the first practice of fall camp. As always, we hope you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you do all that good stuff. Hit the like button, and if you can't hear us or there's any audio issues today, let us know. Make sure the volume's good and everything. But Johnny, little smoky today, but day off yesterday, back at it. First practice in full pads should be fun.
Yeah, it will. They'll be flying around. They'll be popping. Practice in the morning. Air quality's not terrific, BJ. I don't know what's going to happen with that. I know the last 2 practices have been in the indoor, and you still get a great practice in on the indoor. I only know one person who really doesn't like it, but other than that, you know, you're in the indoor and you're getting a practice in. I don't know if that's going to be the case today, but here we go, man. They got a scrimmage in, 3 days, BJ, that they need to get ready for. And I think it's going to be of big importance, that scrimmage, how they play. And then this is just all a build-up to that. I'm curious to see who's out there today, who is in competition. And I'm digging this camp so far. Been to all the practices. I'm loving these position battles. I'm loving how this team is vibing. Like, I get it, how people are excited. I get it, how people want to be a part of it. And we'll see the action today. Indoor or outdoor, they'll be getting after it.
We'll get into fall camp here in just a little bit, Johnny, and to discuss your thoughts from the first week and preview today's first practice in full pads. But the news of the day, I guess the news of yesterday afternoon, we got to start with that. Jeremiah Dickey happening, just before you guys went on the air yesterday. Pete Thamel, ESPN, first to put it out there. A lot of us others were able to confirm it a short time later. And then Dr. Trump putting out a statement officially saying that Jeremiah Dickey has agreed to a new deal. It's a 4-year extension. I don't know if it's a completely new 5-year deal, if they're just tacking 4 years on the end. We'll wait and see what it looks like when it comes out. But 4 more years now added on. Jeremiah Dickey through the 28-29 season is here to stay. And again, we don't know how involved he was at Houston, but the news is he's not going to Houston. He's staying here, and that's big news for Boise State.
Gosh, isn't it? I mean, the buzzkill cloud, it felt like it was in a direct beeline for Boise State like 5 times this offseason. And it just figured out a way to avoid Boise State at almost every turn. I mean, all the bad things, like, could you imagine if this team, say, lost Ashton, didn't get Malachi, Dickey, bailing? I mean, it just would have been like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Especially this fan base, right? But none of that happened. And it feels like I said earlier, you get a sense that everybody just wants to be a part of this thing, that they just love each other. And maybe a lot of programs feel that way. I'm not saying they wouldn't, but they certainly do here. And I think, I don't know any of the contract details. I'm sure, smarter people than me are going to work on those, like yourself, and figure out exactly why Jeremiah Dickey chose to stay at Boise State. I can tell you, though, in my opinion, a big part of that is just the same reason you see Spencer Danielson flying around and all these players. Everybody just wants to be here. And if he did have an offer on the table from Houston, I'm sure it was a handsome amount of money every year, BJ, and probably checked a lot of boxes with his family. But maybe deep in his heart, Jeremiah Dickey just didn't want to leave Boise, Idaho. But tremendous, I don't want to say gift, but tremendous dodge of the buzzkill cloud, right? Yeah. That Boise State fan in this program have. Now I'm thinking, if I'm a donor and I was on the fence, because, dude, I don't want to sign all this money. I don't want to write that extra zero on the check if Dickey's going to leave and I have uncertainty at the top. Now, all of a sudden, Dickey signs this extension. You have him under contract until 2029, 5 years. And you're thinking, oh, okay, now I might donate because I know the direction of the program and I trust that guy. So I think this is a huge win for everything involved with Boise State. And again, just an offseason just filled with victory after victory. It's crazy, man.
And I guess we should remind, or at least point out, like, this doesn't lock him in for 5 years. Like, theoretically, he could still leave if a better opportunity came down the road. But this gives him a new deal. He only had, about 16 months or whatever it was left on his current deal. He had, was going to go through the 2025, 26 deal, I guess it is, or 25. I always get it screwed up. But it adds 3-4 years to the deal, and it's a big deal. And yeah, I think it's, we'll find out what the details of the contract terms were, what Houston does, how much they offer. But I think if it was solely money, Johnny, then he would be at Houston. His deal is not going to be as high.
Why do you say that? Because
when the Houston AD job comes out, they're going to be paying more than Boise State got. And then Jeremiah Dickey's going to be.
Oh yeah.
I'm guessing somewhere in the 550, 600 range for Jeremiah Dickey, and you're going to be 800 plus for the Houston AD. So if he were to have been offered the job, and it was 100% about money, Houston is going to pay their athletic director more than Boise State. So it's not all about the money for him. Did he take a pay cut to stay? We don't know if he was actually offered the job at Houston or not. They don't have an athletic director yet. Maybe that happens soon now. He found out it wasn't him. He locked this in. Maybe he told Houston, no, I'm staying. Now they move on to their next choice. Again, at some point we'll talk to Jeremiah. He was actually at practice on Saturday, and we talked to him about that, or not about that, but we just talked kind of, BS with him. He had his kids there at practice, didn't mention anything of this. And now it sounds like in principle, it is nothing's been written. I asked about.
That's what Prater reported yesterday.
I asked about, this is kind of a handshake verbal agreement. I asked, is there a term sheet or something we can get? And Boise State said nothing has been signed. So there is nothing to get. So maybe that changed last night once Marlene Trump put her statement out. Maybe they went ahead and got that term sheet signed. I don't know the answer to that. But again, Jeremiah Dickey is staying. And as you said, Johnny, the North End Zone project, the Extra Mile Arena project they want to do, all these different things. I think now that he knows he is staying and everybody else knows he's staying, I think you're only going to see that kind of stuff continue to ramp up.
Like I said, yeah. I mean, now that you know what's in place, especially too, let me just throw this into the crock pot of Boise State future athletic department success. Oh, I don't know. Let me just throw this out there. Let's say behind us is an 11-1 football team in the regular season. Whoa. Okay. Now you're getting ready for a Mountain West championship. You win that. Like, if you throw that in, nothing moves the needle in the state of Idaho more than Boise State football when they are nationally relevant. You guys have seen it, and that's been gone. Even, I'll tell you this, even in 2014, and that was a terrific team loaded with pros.
Yep.
They were 2-2. So they had to just I mean, they won out, and they did. But they didn't get back in that national conversation maybe until bowl prep, end of the year type of thing, BJ, because they had 2 losses. But people remember the other years where Boise State was undefeated or had 1 loss at the end, and they were playing really well, and they had really good players, future NFL players. If they have that this year, and then you throw that in with everything you were saying, and all of a sudden you get that bump. Oh, the football team's really, really, really good again. Okay, honey, we're going to give them some money. You know, like that's going to happen if all that stuff happens.
Yeah, no doubt. By the way, folks are wondering, somebody mentioned, could we get your 100-meter dash time in the parking lot behind us? You won't be getting mine, John. I pulled my hammy in slow pitch softball last night. That was super embarrassing and super frustrating. I don't know if you've ever had a pulled muscle. I tried to go out to left field the next inning, and then there was a ball kind of close to me, and I took a step and realized, no, this is an actual thing that I got to come out of the game.
I think I could run a 40, I think, in under
6, under 5?
I think under 6. Best 40 time I ever had in my life was a 4.7.
Under 6 seconds. What are you guys taking? Over, under for John Mallory under 40? I don't know if I'd be under 7, to be honest with you. So
you're slow, dude.
Yeah,
You've always been slow.
What do you think Jay Tust would run?
He'd be faster than you, but not faster than me.
Okay. Jay's more of the power, though.
Yes, dude. Yeah. Jay
would be the fastest.
Like I see Jay runs like Mario from Super Mario Brothers. He's all boxy, and it's like,
I bet you he's sneaky fast, though. He's a little faster.
I bet he used to be. Jay was a center fielder, too. We should, I mean, look, our athletic prowess, Jay Tusk got drafted, so he could probably run faster than both of us.
We got a 5.5 for ball game. We have to test it now. Under ball game has wheels.
Okay, well, this time next week,
maybe we come out here before and measure it. You'd be willing to try that?
I'll run a 40 this time next week because I want to.
What if we could raise some money for charity or something? Though
no one's going to donate to charity.
To see Johnny run a 40. What if we could try to get a little money for something to make this? You know, so you're actually doing this for a good cause.
Hold on a sec. I'm just going to practice one.
Are you serious? What are we doing here? You got to make sure you're on the here. What are we doing here? I don't have a stopwatch or anything to see. How do you know where 40 yards is? All right, I don't know what he's doing here. He's going to just show you that he can run, I guess. I'll get out of the way here for a second. Let's you know what? He's not fat. He's pretty fat. You know what? I would take the under for sure. That's under for sure, dude. You're actually not you can move a little bit. When you've dropped some big pounds, which I need to follow in your
man.
But I bet you could. I bet you're under. I bet you.
Did that look like I at least know how to run?
Dude, you might break 5. Could you break 5?
No.
Could you be 4.99?
No way.
I think you could break 5.5.
Stop. I cannot run in the 4s, dude. What?
Jesse Bywater will donate $300 if you shoot free throws against Andy Rowe. $300 for
we'll work that out.
Okay.
All right, let's move on, though. Let's get to practice. I'm tired after that.
That is hilarious. Well, since you're tired, I'll play a clip here that I want to play. So Jeremiah Dickey staying. Good news for Boise State. We do have some other stuff to get to. I want to thank some of our sponsors. I also want to play a clip from last night's Riley and Ridge show. If you missed the show, it was great stuff, man. Brad Bedell can tell some stories. The insight you
He's funny,
get,
man. I like Coach.
And you get some real insight, too, mixed in with the funny stories. And I want to play one of those from Riley and Rid, and then we'll talk about the full padded practice here in just a second. But do want to thank a couple of our sponsors. RoePaint.com, our title sponsor, ROEPaint.com. Check them out, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, our title sponsor, whether it's the concrete coatings in the backyard, whether it's your, in the back patio, the garage, basement, you name it, that concrete slab. Make sure you check them out, ROEPaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union, check them out as well. ICCU.com. They are the best in the business when it comes to all your banking needs. So all your banking needs, mobile banking, eBranch online banking, that app on your phone. Highly recommend our friends over at Idaho Central Credit Union. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but again, check them out, ICCU.com. Ridley's Family Markets, shop Ridley's.com. You got 13 locations around the state of Idaho, the surrounding states. Download that Skip app. Get savings up to 40% at the checkout line. And again, the CUNA location's a great one. Star, Middleton, but they've got the Magic Valley all around the state of Idaho. McCall got a great location there. So think about next time you're looking for a grocer, think about the hometown grocer and check out Ridley's Family Markets. Again, Matt Bauscher, Bauscher Real Estate, #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. is Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. Again, he can sell those huge $1 million homes, but he can sell the small ones as well. So we bought and sold our home with Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate, and he did a tremendous job. We're very appreciative and thankful of our man Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. And want to throw a plug in for Due West, our man Carrie, Western Collective. Obviously, they're on board now as our studio sponsor, and they've got a heck of a deal going right now. You can get a free appetizer and a free dessert. Free appetizer and a free dessert if you use the link and sign up for a reservation at Due West. The QR code is on your screen right there. And then the other way that you can do this is you can go to BroncoNation.com and we would be able to help you there. There's a link. Search the Due West on our website, and you can click the link, put in for a table reservation. You get an appetizer and a dessert at our friends at Due West. All right, Johnny, last night on not Ball Talk. By the way, August 21st, we're here to announce Ball Talk is back on August 21st.
Still working on some contractual details. I'm not ready to.
We're in a similar boat as Marlene Tromp and Jeremiah Dickey.
Yes, he needs to. I shouldn't have.
It's all about one thing
Uncle
for Johnny.
BJ.
It's all about one thing for Johnny, the bottom line. All right. So, yes, we are hoping to start Ball Talk again on August 21st. You're going to get 2 episodes in before the season starts. That'll be Wednesdays, though. New day for Ball Talk, Wednesday nights on Bronco Nation News. On Tuesday nights, they're already off and rolling. They don't need to wait a couple of weeks. They hit the hole with fall camp. Riley Smith and Kent Riddle, Riley and Rid, great show. They're doing it live every Tuesday at 8 o'clock from the James. They're going to have special guests, all kinds of fun stuff. And last night, Brad Bedell sat down. Whenever Brad Bedell sits down, it's great stuff. Yeah. And let's I want to play a clip. It's about 3 or 4 minutes long. It's kind of a lengthy clip, but it's a good story about fall camp and Brad Bedell and some push-ups. This is what you missed if you missed Riley and Rid last night.
What was it like in meetings, Bedell? Because I know you had a push-up board.
Yeah.
And you had some consequences for the guys.
Yeah.
Can you kind of take us through that?
Sure. So if you had a penalty, so a false start, so it was every push-up for how many yards?
Yeah.
So 5 for false starts, 10 for holding. That was subjective. Yeah. Like if it was one of these jackass officials in a scrimmage called them holding, I'm like, that's not holding. We're moving on.
Yeah.
A sack was 25. In the game, it was 50. A tackle for loss.
Yeah.
So before all you guys jump in, the Troy game in 17, I get it. There's a lot of push-ups in that room. And so personal fouls.
Yeah.
Personal fouls, I ate. I did. I was like, sometimes you just kind of need to play.
Yeah.
Right? You got to reestablish your dominance in the run game.
Sure.
So if you pancake.
There were a couple that were like,
Yeah, well, they may have done push-ups, they may not. But like Ezra did push-ups versus BYU at the end at home. I think this was 18 or maybe 19. He hit a guy so late. I'm like, dude,
that's what I'm talking about.
you're done. Yeah, like I got you. That was the stupidest thing I've heard. And you almost got kicked out of the game right before half.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you're in Coach Carson. I didn't know if he was ever going to play in the second half.
Yeah.
So, like, that's different.
It was a little late.
You mean the team walking into the locker room and Ezra just dumped a guy? But that's that edge. Like, where are we going to carry an edge?
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't have an edgy offensive line, you're done.
For sure.
True.
You're done.
It's been said 1,000 times, right? But the O-line is the biggest position group on the team.
Yeah.
And generally the toughest guys. So as your O-line goes, you go. That's how you go.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And hey, trust me, being a guy that's coached tight ends and running backs, I mean, the O-line gets blamed for a lot of shit.
Yeah.
That may or may not be their fault. And there's even more to it that goes into that, like, oh, tight end misses block, running back misses block. Well, quarterback held onto the ball way too long.
Yeah.
Receiver ran the wrong route, causing the quarterback. I mean, it's easy to blame the O-line,
Right.
Now, if the nose guard gets turned loose,
Right.
yeah, I mean,
it's a problem.
That's probably a big deal. But
Archie Lewis had 500 push-ups in one meeting, all-time record, because I also gave personal fines.
Oh yeah.
So if it's a technique we've worked, I let him work a week. I was like, hey, I'm giving you the warning. You're about to go to a personal fine. Personal fines were 25 push-ups or sit-ups for Archie because Archie's body was just destroyed. I said, okay, you're going to go on the board. Are we agreed? We're agreed. So we've agreed on this. And if it's agreed upon, it's set in stone.
For sure.
Archie, 25. Archie, 25. Archie, 25. He was sweating.
Yeah.
And finally, there was guys like, hey, coach, can we do a couple of push-ups to get it off of him? I was like, it's your O-line. It's not mine.
Yeah.
You guys make your decisions, the leadership in this room, if you're going to help. And all of a sudden, all these guys start doing push-ups, and Ezra goes down, does one push-up. He goes, Archie, I got you by one. Mason was like Mason was freaky strong.
Yeah.
Mason was just pumping him out. And Archie's like, thanks, guys. Thanks. I appreciate it. But that's an older guy in the room. He also knew all these younger guys, they had his back.
Yeah.
And now we came out of that room, and I'll never forget. I was sitting there, and I went in, kicked my feet up, and I started laughing.
Yeah.
And I forgot who came in. They go, what are you laughing at? I go, I got him where I want him.
Yeah.
And that happened. I said, I got him where I want him. We're going to be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
We're going to win this thing. We're going to be perfectly fine because older guys need to know the younger guys got them. The younger guys need to know the older guys got them. That's what fall camp's all about in the course of a season.
Yeah. And I always thought it was funny because freshman year, we had like Garrett Kern and Kate Connie and Dallas, and they would come out with just massive pumps and just dripping in sweat. I was like, what the hell happened in there? And they're like, we messed up all day today. Because that was back when we did the rookie practices.
Yeah.
And it was just mess up after mess up. But I always thought that was funny that you implemented that.
And they knew during the recruiting process, they saw the board.
Yeah.
I showed them everything. So they came here, what the culture of Boise State and Boise State O-line is.
No doubt. It did good for them. They look a lot better because of it.
It's a lot cheaper too in the NFL. I mean, the NFL, it all why I brought this, because the NFL, we got fined, but for money.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the year, we threw a party. 50% went to the O-line party, 50% went to a charity.
That's cool.
And so now I was like,
I guess that's one hell of a party.
Great party.
Yeah.
I'm going to read every story can't be said.
Yeah.
But that's then I was like, you know what? I'm doing this, but I'm going to do it for push-ups because I'm not charging these kids money.
Right.
NIL period. Yeah, they're getting charged for money.
Yeah, now it's fair game.
Oh,
I know.
Oh, man, great stuff last night on Riley and Rid. And, what do you think, Johnny, doing push-ups for penalties and things? You think that's is that fair game, you think? Or maybe luckily he's not coaching anymore. They won't hear about that, I guess.
I don't have a problem with it. Yeah. I mean, better than in the NFL where it actually hits your pocketbook. But, I think that's something that everybody in that offensive line group agrees to. Everybody abides by it. They would police themselves and, kind of one of those type of deals. But yeah, Coach Bedell's stories are the best. I need to remember to ask him about one of those end of the year offensive lineman parties.
I was just going to say,
I bet that pot gets pretty high and those guys have a blast. I'd like to know kind of what they decide to do with that. Go
to Vegas or something.
Yeah. Right. What do they decide to do with it? Because they probably have pretty steep fines.
The end of a season, an NFL offensive line party. I mean, yeah, you're putting,
it's good food.
Good food and good times, probably. So, so again, the whole show, I could have picked about 10 different clips. It was about an hour and a half episode. Good stuff live at the James. Again, go to our Bronco Nation News YouTube channel. You can check that out, the full episode, all kinds of stories about fall camp and competition and Riley and Rid and Brad Bedell. That was fun stuff last night. So go check out the whole episode, Bronco Nation News YouTube channel. And again, every Tuesday at 8 o'clock, they're going to be live out there on the patio. If you want to come hang out in person and watch the show and ask some questions live, we'll throw you on there. So that was fun. And we'll be doing that every Tuesday. And again, August 21st, we'll start Ball Talk on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock as well. And I'm even talking to old Winnie Venable about getting back involved as well. So I don't know if there's a interest in a season 2.1 or whatever of BNN After Dark, or if we want to at least get Winnie involved on Wednesdays with Winston again, maybe bump you back to Thursdays.
Love to get Winston back on BNN. Everybody likes him, and he's got a good analysis, and it's Winston Venable, man. When he's talking Boise State football, you're going to listen and you're going to watch that. So let's get him back on the team. Did you call him Winnie?
That's what you call him.
Yeah, because he hates it, though.
I know.
You shouldn't have said that. He hates it.
We haven't signed the deal yet, so I shouldn't have said that. No. Winston, do we know his middle name? Winston Venable. Yes.
Maurice?
We-
Winston Maurice Venable? That sounds good.
All right, Johnny, behind us today, they're going to get into the first full padded practice. And the last day that last time I talked to you last Wednesday was the day of the first practice. We were previewing the first practice. It's kind of come full circle now. There are 5 practices in. This is practice 6 today. Before we push to the full padded practice, I want to get your thoughts on what you've seen 5 practices in, because as you said, I don't think anyone from start to finish, you were a little late because you guys got off the show at 6:00 the other day, but that wasn't your fault. But I think you've still seen more of the practices than anybody here. 5 practices in, your general thoughts.
This is a good team, and I have to almost temper myself like, hey, it's not like I'm seeing 8 different camps and have a frame of reference and can compare and contrast. I'm covering one college football team. The one college football team I'm covering seems like it has a lot of dudes, and they're playing with energy and enthusiasm. Not once, pardon me, have I thought, this kind of lacks energy a little bit, like maybe I have before at practices. I was talking to an ex-NFL player who played at Boise State, and he said that, man, there's so much juice here. And I was like, yeah, I feel that too. He's like, I'm telling you, I used to come back when the last guy was the coach, and it was noticeable for me that it didn't seem like a Boise State practice. And I was thinking, interesting. Okay, this practice, anything but. Everybody's popping around, flying around. DBs versus wide receivers, that competition I haven't seen in a few days. It's not a competition they do every single day.
They've done it less than usual, I would think, though.
Yep. So I hope we get some of that today. As far as first day in full pads, it's really hard for coaches now because you just can't tackle. There's no tackling even in full pads. Maybe what it does do is it helps maybe from what am I thinking, a standpoint of attrition. You get used to playing in full pads finally. They have that step physically, but I don't think we're going to see the Oklahoma drill or the bull in the ring today, because they have full pads on. Like it's not when we were in high school, little league or whatever. The first full pad day,
you're getting after it.
Dude, coaches are like lining kids up, and you're just running into each other. That's all you did the first full day of contact. Like, wow, they don't do it like that anymore. But so as far as the physicality, I'm sure there'll be some, maybe a little more than we've seen.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be like I'm going to go over to you on the sideline and say, damn, this is a really, really physical practice. Guys are on the ground. We won't see that. What else am I interested in? It's tough for me, at least, to kind of gauge both offensive and defensive lines. And even though those guys are more physical by far than any other position, the linemen go at it. They're like full go every single day, as you see. They go hard.
Yeah.
So, but I can't really gauge who's doing well. I'll just kind of trust the coaches in the depth chart there. Linebacker's an interesting position too. You've noticed it with Jake Ripp. He's having a really good camp. I think he's doing a lot with the ones. Marco's right there. He's doing a lot with the ones. That's an interesting battle. Both those kids can play. They'll both play a lot, but Ripp, I'm kind of buying in on this Rip thing. He got a lot of pub in spring.
Yeah.
Sometimes kids physically, they just pop, and all of a sudden the weight room becomes their best friend and they show up looking entirely different. Didn't you have him, Rip, like last week?
Yes.
And it was noticeable, huh? He walks in the room and it looked like a Leighton Vander Esch, as Prater was saying too, kind of physically, like if you look at LVE as a younger player, kind of that same 6'3" long frame, and Rip stands out. I'm looking forward to seeing him play today too. But obviously, I've had a front row seat. It's been fantastic to this quarterback competition.
Here's what I'll say about this quarterback battle. Yeah. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. And again, we have to be a little careful. We've been
I'm not going to say stuff that they don't want us to say.
We've been instructed to not really talk about who's taking first team reps, who's doing this and that, and I get it. But what I said yesterday with Jay was what Dirk Cutter told us when fall camp started, that Maddox Madsen was the starter, or was the first team guy going into camp. I would just say I've seen nothing to change that stance probably from what Dirk
I would imagine when they come out today, Maddox will still be with the ones. And if he's not, we'll say, well, okay, something happened, and Malachi's going to get a day with the ones, or Malachi is the one.
Yeah.
We'll have that. I'll tell you this. I'll do a quick plug. Our Chris Peterson interview yesterday on KTIK.
What am I stirring the pot about, JJ?
JJ, come on, man.
I'm stirring the pot.
JJ, you're a pot stirrer, JJ.
yeah.
You stir the pot always on BNN.
I guess I do.
BJ texts me, there goes JJ again, stirring the pot. Yeah. Damn, JJ.
I guess by saying what Dirk Cutter said, that nothing's changed, is stirring the pot on the QB.
Watch the Chris Peterson interview on KTIK yesterday.
Great stuff, by the way.
Prater asks him a Malachi question, and I follow with a Mad Dog question. Listen to Pete's answer. I mean, and there's a guy who's seen a lot of practice, who's been inside the building. Pete had an interesting take on it too. Malachi continuing to develop, and Chris Peterson, he said it. He's a fan of Maddox Matson. He likes the way he plays, and he thinks he's got a real shot to win this too. But I've had a front row seat, BJ, and I can't wait to go in there and watch 2 hours of it today. Drill after drill, throw after throw. I will say the 5 best throws I've seen in camp have all been from Malachi Nelson. He has this, man, he throws a beautiful ball, you guys.
He's not afraid to kind of let it fly, too.
It's just, I can just sit there and watch Malachi just spin and spin. Yep. And I just love watching him throw. He is really gifted. He'll make some throws that I'm like, oh, I saw Russell Wilson make that throw to Tyler Lockett, like corner of the end zone and stuff. But he does. But there's also stuff that Malachi, in my opinion, isn't doing well enough yet. And if we'll get there, great. Some of those things that Malachi isn't doing well enough yet. Yep. Mad Dog's got an A in last year. Yep. He's taken that test. He's got that. So it's like they're on different levels of their quarterbacking course, or their matriculation through Cutter camp or Cutter. Maddox is way more advanced in that stuff, and that's just because he's been here longer. Maddox has that advantage, and very intelligently, he's using that advantage. Yeah. That's his best tool. I know this stuff. I know these guys. They all really like me. Maddox reminds me of like a Jim McMahon. He's like everybody's favorite dude. He's fun to see at practice, and Malachi isn't like that as much personality. Not that has anything to do with the quarterback competition. It doesn't. But Maddox is using all those things he can do to try to win this job. I mean, these kids both want to win this. They're both playing really hard.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to see, Malachi's getting better every day. So I'm like, and so is Maddox. So this is going to be a great process, and I can't wait to see who Cutter and Coach Danielson choose. Whoever they choose, I'll support 100%. Before camp started, I think we gave our percentage, or after spring, and I said 51% Malachi, 49% Madsen. And my kind of lean was a couple of those throws I saw Malachi make in the spring game. I was like, dang, that looks like high-level stuff, and Maddox didn't get to play in the spring game, BJ. Mm-hmm. So I think that if maybe this scrimmage that no one's going to see, I'd pay $50 right now to see that scrimmage on Saturday, by the way.
Yeah, no doubt.
What if Malachi's a gamer? What if Maddox is the better practice player, but they're going to scrimmage on Saturday, close to everybody, Mad Dog struggles and Malachi shreds? Then all of a sudden, you got a totally different deal. If coaches are thinking, is one of them just better in a game than the other? So they're figuring all that out, and it's been fun to cover.
By the way, you got your laminated thing.
What?
Johnny has his laminated roster, not just a roster, a laminated roster here. I mean, this guy is as prepared as anybody. Did you pay someone to do this?
We have a laminating machine at Cumulus Radio, my employer. And last year, they give us these rosters, which are really handy on practice. And over the spring, by the end of spring practice, it was all crumply and I couldn't read it. So I thought, not in fall camp, laminating that son of a gun. So, and I got Prater's personal depth chart.
Back to the quarterbacks for 1 second. We were there at the end of practice on Monday night, and they did a 2-minute drill at the end of practice where they had about a minute and 15 on the clock. They were down at the 35-yard line or something. They had to try to get in field goal range. Both quarterbacks not only got them into field goal range, got them into the end zone. Malachi Nelson, I believe, was first. I think it was Matt Wagner, a tight end, in the end zone for a touchdown. The O-line's talking a lot of trash good. Then they go back and do it again. and Maddox Madsen leads them down, and Latrell Caples with a diving catch in the back of the end zone, and he's saying, ball game, and they're talking. But I thought I don't know if he's talking to you or
no,
saying,
they were talking to
I think they were pretty impressed over you over there in the corner. But both quarterbacks, I thought back-to-back. I mean, that's the competition. One guy leads him down to a touchdown drive. Very next drive, Madsen comes in and says, okay, you did that. Great. Here's what I can do. And I think that they're just going back and forth, and I don't think they're ready to pick a guy. As we said, I still believe what Dirk said going into camp is probably correct, and Madsen's probably still the leader, but I'm not ready to call this thing. That's for sure.
Heck no. I want to say, sure, Mad Dog's the leader, but that has no bearing on anything. I'm not watching the tape. I'm not in the meetings. Coach Cutter may see stuff in football translation that we can't. So, yeah, but I do know what a good football looks like thrown. I've seen enough football in my lifetime. I know what good mechanics are. I know a catchable ball, and Malachi throws a beautiful football. That's one thing. If you ask a question about Malachi, the first thing somebody says is yeah, he throws a good ball. One of those type of deals. And Maddox they're both really good quarterbacks, and it's going to be a very, very high level competition. It is right now, PJ. This is pretty sweet, and they'll have a starter named before game week. The question would be, would they, if someone were to pull away and run away,
announce it earlier?
Yeah, would they announce it earlier? Because
before game week is when he told us they would do it. He never said right before game week. If they think after scrimmage one, that's enough. They saw enough. I don't think they would hesitate.
I don't think they would
Once
either.
They decide they're going to announce.
I haven't seen that type of separation though.
There's a lot of people talking about Chris Marshall posting on Instagram that he was in a boot. So I guess we can say, yes, Chris Marshall is in a boot.
No comment.
He says, be back soon is what his post was. So, I guess I'll just say early part of fall camp, you see a lot of guys banged up on the sidelines sometimes. Usually most of it is not serious. I know nothing about Chris Marshall's injury other than to say that what you're saying that he posted on Instagram, him in a boot. And we'll find out more on that. Again, maybe Saturday. Maybe Spencer on Saturday would be willing to. I know he's not a huge injury. It's funny, they say, he's not going to talk about injuries, and then usually if you ask Spencer, he's willing to tell you a little bit. So there may be something we can ask on Saturday.
I don't know. I would probably just avoid this one too. We'll see. I don't know if the school saw that post or whatever. I don't.
Hey, once the player puts it out there, man.
I know. I don't. Man,
that's the one time you
not
can
what
say
they want to do.
Chris Marshall put a Instagram post out of him in a boot. What can you tell us about that? I think that's fair game at this point.
What do you guys think? Totally fair game? Yeah. If he puts it on Instagram, yeah.
Hey, we had our discussion about whether or not I should ask Bronco Mendenhall about interviewing for the BSU job. I went for it, and he gave us a great answer about interviewing for the BSU
Great
job.
answer.
So, I brought up your laminated thing there for a reason. We're obviously going to be looking at the quarterbacks. And I think Ashton Genty's talking today too.
Yes, he is, man.
So it'll be his first talk since media days. But what in terms of the first full padded practice today, what else are you going to be looking at? I do hope they go back to some of the wide receiver DB one-on-one drills, and I want to see some one-on-one drills, D end and tackle and guard and defensive tackles. I want to see those are always fun too. When you get into full pads, they just line everybody up and one at a time. It's one-on-one trying to get to the quarterback, and so I would love seeing that. I just want to see the competition ramp up. But other than the quarterbacks, maybe the receivers, where else today, an hour and a half practice, are you going to try to make your way around the field?
I'll pump you guys up a little bit. Ashton Genty is better than you've ever seen him play. Take what he did last year, and this is the newer model. If you buy the 2018, whatever, and then they come out with the 2019, and it's just got a few more things here and there, bells and whistles. That's this version of Ashton Genty. I'm seeing it, man. He is. Yesterday it was funny. My mom is like, "Man, I hope Ashton Genty stays healthy." And I'm like, you know what? I might give a year off my life if Ashton Genty stays entirely healthy this year, and I can just see him play. My mom goes, "You're an effing idiot." You don't give a year of your life for somebody for football, but that's how excited I am to see Ashton Genty play this year. And I was telling BJ the other day, pardon me, if the defense can't set the edge and Ashton Genty gets the edge, it is a nightmare. You are completely at his mercy with kind of anything he wants to do. If he takes it to the outside, he's going to pick on a corner. If he keeps it straight, look out safety. If he tries to cut back the line, he's just such a gifted runner and he's physical. And I'm telling you, if defenses aren't on point this year, there's going to be a lot of runs. BJ, you've seen it. Sometimes it's crazy. Ashton Genty will be 7 yards past the line of scrimmage, and there's still defenders in pursuit. And I'm like, he's gone. And he's gone. The screen passes, BJ.
Yeah, it's been impressive.
The screen passes. Like, they'll do some stuff where
does
run a freaking screenplay.
Does he get tackled today? First full padded practice. There'll be a couple live periods.
Good question,
does he
BJ.
get tackled?
It's a good question.
Hey,
there's sometimes where he's 7 yards in, like you've seen it, the screen passes. Ashton Genty, you guys, he's better than he's ever been.
Hey, welcome to a new sponsor, Jackson's. Happy to have Jackson's on board. Going to be telling you more about some of their cool deals they got going on. Depending on how Ahmed Hassanin does, if he gets a sack, you're going to get some discounted coffee and sodas the next day. We got more information coming on that. Same for Breezy Dubar. So thank you to Jackson's coming on board as the title sponsor of the Riley and Ridge Show. We'll be telling you more about Jackson's here moving forward. Snake River Pool and Spa, another great sponsor of ours, thespateam.com, the Rains family. Loving our spa from Snake River Pool and Spa. And again, you can get more information, visit all their different locations, Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, and Nampa. We'll be telling you more about them moving forward. They're not just selling spas. They've got all kinds of pool tables, billiards, all kinds of cool games, saunas, and again, thespateam.com. Lithia, Florida, Boise. We're doing a show in a couple of weeks, Johnny. I haven't told you yet. The appearance fee will be there Wednesday of game week. We're going to be at Lithia, Florida, Boise, and we're looking forward to that. LithiaForwardBoise.com, Wednesday of the Georgia Southern week. So come check us out. And again, Lithia, Florida, Boise, excited. And they got 4 NIL deals and with football players, a couple other. They're one of the biggest sponsors of BNN, one of the biggest sponsors of Boise State Athletics. So return the favor. Make sure you purchase that next vehicle at Lithia, Florida, Boise. Taco Bell, we'll be doing a show from there soon, too. And we know Johnny loves the Crunch Wrap breakfast sandwiches there and the quesadillas. TacoBellWorks.com. Check them out if you're looking for a job. They got some a lot of locations around the Treasure Valley. Great food. It's quick. It's delicious. So check out Taco Bell for that next meal. And again, they're donating a lot of money for scholarships. So you can get more information at TacoBellWorks.com. The Blue and Orange Store, all your Boise State gear. Check them out. The Blue and Orange Store.com. All your Ashton Genty Heisman shirt, the new jerseys, all the NIL shirts, all the coaches' sideline apparel. There's a lot of places you can get Boise State gear, but we recommend the Blue and Orange Store.com. And again, if you're in the Boise area, just go to the second floor of the Boise Town Square Mall next to Pro Image. TCS, Transportation Compliance Service. If you're looking to get into the trucking industry, highly recommended. You know, maybe you never thought becoming a truck driver, and maybe you think that's crazy, but it's a very lucrative industry right now. Check it out. Transportation Compliance Service, transcompservice.com. And we are heading down 2 weeks from right now. I'll be doing our show at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas in 2 weeks. I had somebody else reach out yesterday about trying to sign them up for a contest. I'm trying to talk Johnny into it. Maybe today's the day I can talk Johnny into it at practice, splitting an entry together. Circa Sports, $1,000 entry fee for the millions. You pick 5 games against the spread. They have quarterly and full season payouts. And then Survivor is just your typical Survivor, but it's $10 million winner take all to the winner there. So if you're interested in playing, you can play in Boise or anywhere in states that don't allow gambling. You just have to sign up through a proxy, Tom Carroll. So we can sign you up. You do have to register in Vegas for the contest, but you can play from anywhere in the world using VegasFootballProxy.com. Our proxy, they just sign you up and get you out there playing. So highly recommend these contests. Let me know if you want to go to Vegas with us in a couple weeks and sign up yourself, or we can help sign you up as well. Again, Tom Carroll, VegasFootballProxy.com, and Circa Resort and Casino. Johnny, as we wrap this up, people are commenting on the smoke. We have not gotten a text that practice has been moved, but I don't see the tower going up on the practice field there either for the cameras. So we'll have to wait and see, but it is a little bit smoky, and this might get moved indoors here.
Yeah, there's only one person I know that'll complain about that.
Not me. I'm fine either way, man.
Just kidding, man. Yeah, indoors, outdoors.
I don't love indoors. Indoors is a little darker.
I would much prefer outdoors today too, but this isn't Burger King. You know, you can't have it your way.
But yeah, we haven't gotten the text yet, so we'll see. But appreciate you guys. Go watch Riley and Rid from last night. We'll have some interviews posted on our channel as well. We had a lot of great comments on the yard dash.
Yeah, a couple of these. Well, not me running. Boise State stuff. Dylan Riley looks really good, guys. Yes. 4 different times I said, wait, who's that? Dylan Riley, there he is again. Kid's looking really good. The running back room is loaded. And I'll tell you another guy that's looking really good, Cameron Bates, the receiver. I think he's number 80, right, BJ? Yes, yep. Cameron Bates, a receiver from Texas. He's having a really nice camp. Young kid making catches, beating defensive backs that you'd be like, "Ooh, Cameron Bates just scored on that guy. Yep. Nice play." Like, well,
the funny thing
they
is,
have some young guys who, and Sire is more impressive than any young guy on the team, if you ask me.
Yeah,
they have young guys that are coming up. Yeah, those guys look like good hits so far in the recruiting game. They can play.
The first day of practice, I forgot the Cam Camper switch because I believe he was 80 in the spring.
Yeah,
and they were calling him Cam. And I just thought it was Cam Camper, and then I realized,
wow,
wait, that's Cam Bates. It took me a couple of reps to realize it was the wrong Cam because he had switched to number 9. So I agree, he's been impressive. A lot of young guys have been impressive. Dylan Riley's been impressive, but I mean, there's no way about it. He's 4th on the depth chart this year, so we'll see.
No redshirt.
We'll see what they decide to do.
Yeah, in the stable, I'm just saying these guys, they're making plays.
Yeah,
so that's
doubt.
great. Yeah, but I don't expect them to play All right,
well, we appreciate you guys for checking us out again. Hit that like button down there at the bottom of the screen on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button as well. It's free to subscribe on YouTube, and we post daily highlights, interviews, press conference, live press conference video, and all these shows are on YouTube. So if you're watching on Facebook or X, please switch over. Make sure you subscribe to the BNN channels as well as the KTIK social media channels as well. And again, $50 if you can help subscribe. Full year subscription. I know Prater's working on a column. I got some stories in the can coming down here the next couple of days. So exclusive, comprehensive Boise State coverage. $50 for a full year at BroncoNationNews.com if you can help us out. And what brand of sunglasses are you guys wearing?
What are those, like Oakley's?
No, these are like $15 sunglasses from Walgreens.
These are Coach.
There you go. No, these are very basic, cheap. I don't buy the expensive sunglasses because either me or my kid sits on them and breaks them, and I'm done doing that. So I just go for the cheap ones. And
I stole these from somebody I know.
I'm not surprised. But again, 3:00 today, Johnny, Idaho Sports Talk. I know people love the Coach Pete interview yesterday. That is available online, KTIK.com, the app. But I know you'll be all over the first padded practice and Ashton Genty today.
Pete's great. Yeah, go check that out. You'll have Genty. Also, 5 p.m. We were thinking, okay, who knows this receiver room as well as anybody that would want to come on IST and talk about the receiver battle? We came up with Billy Bowens, and he agreed. So Billy Bowens, 5 o'clock in studio, talking about the wide receiver position. He played for Miller and Cutter, played with most of these guys. Plus, Billy Bowens, as you know, he's one of those guys. He's on the all-interview team every year.
Ask him about his new job.
Yeah. Okay.
He works over at the James now.
Okay,
we'll do about his temporary job while he's rehabbing and stuff. So,
excellent.
Saw him yesterday at the show last night. So
good for him.
Good for you, man. That'll be 3 to 6 today. Idaho Sports Talk. Make sure you check out Prater and the ball game. We're going to head into practice, and again, go subscribe to all of our social media channels. Give us the $50 if you can at BroncoNationNews.com. You'll be worth it, we promise. And we will talk to you guys soon. Bronco Nation News live here at BroncoNationNews.com.
Rains, boys.